everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I'm going to show you how to refresh a winter interest container planting. Now I did this pot actually really early on in the season as a demonstration, and you see the wheat that I sowed in late August did its job, but it looks worn down and ugly right now. So I am going to remove these wheat plants, and what I'm left with now is just a Swiss chard that was also planted way back in in August. And I'm just gonna do some light trimming on it to get it to be cleaned up. And then I'm gonna reinvent this container so that it'll look good for the rest of the cool season. As you can see, the containers that I planted back in October and November are really looking great. They're full of cool season plants that thrive in this weather, including things like curly parsley, Swiss chard, violas, and even broccoli. So it's high time that I get this other container replanted so I can enjoy it this season. So the first step to container rehab is soil. And this pot is just pretty low on soil, so I'm going to refresh it with some of my favorite Soil Cube organic compost. Fill that in. Now, because this Swiss chard is so well established, I'm probably going to turn this pot so that that becomes the front feature. Already it's looking better. Cut some of these old leaves off that have been damaged. Don't think twice about doing that. Of course, you can always just come out and harvest to eat. I have been doing that over the last few weeks. The Swiss chard isn't my favorite to eat. Don't tell anybody. So without even having to go to a garden center, I just walked around my garden and saw some plants that were just looking so-so. So I dug them up and figured I could rehab them in this pot. So I'm just gonna take off the bottom leaves from this Toscano kale. And I love the texture of this, but you see it's super bare. It's got totally bare stems. So that's why I think it's gonna look really good as a back element in this container. Now planted along with that is a snapdragon, and that should look great this spring. So I'll just get that put in place. And then I found another Swiss chard plant that looks pretty cooked. So I figured it would benefit from coming up into this pot, which is right on my driveway. So this definitely is a microclimate. It's warmer than other parts of my garden because of the reflective heat off of the concrete. And you know, that's the thing, every garden has microclimates. So when you really start to think critically about, you know, where you have your containers or like tender plants, you know, look for little zones that would be natural heat sinks. And you know, that's sidewalks and driveways, and you know, south-facing brick is always good. So I'm just gonna fill this in right like that. And already this container has a completely new life. But hang on, I've got one seed element to share. So you see, there's not a ton of room in here, but that's definitely enough space to be able to scatter some seeds. And I've decided to go with Radish Cherry Giant. And then, because I have so many leftover garlics that didn't get planted, I'm actually gonna put these in. I'm not even gonna separate the cloves. I'm gonna do these nice and tight as a clump, just like that. And then I'll just scatter some of these radish seeds right along the top, and they'll germinate in place, and ultimately I'll be able to harvest them. And just for fun, I'm gonna add this glass piece just to create some interest in the meantime before all this other stuff starts to grow. Now to really make this pot sparkle, I just found this variegated carex in a part of the garden that's completely full. So I yanked it out and I'm putting it here in this pot because this is exactly what this container needs to look full and dynamic for winter interest. So if you have containers that are lacking pizzazz for the winter season, I recommend walking around your garden to see if you have anything that is suitable for transplanting. Look at other cool season veggies like Swiss chard or kale, or even ornamental plants like this gorgeous variegated carex. The sky's the limit when you're creating a winter interest container. The goal here is to maximize your enjoyment. I hope you'll be inspired by this video to go out and create some beautiful winter interest container plantings. As always, thanks for watching.